Hey everybody, welcome to our last week of summer reading programs. You'll see my blue mat is not here. That's because we went on an adventure, Miss Danielle from Youth Services and I, and today we're going to make a nature frame. This is something that you can do very easily if you go for a walk in the woods. Take your kids with you, and this will be a lot of fun. We started out, we collected a whole lot of sticks, because picking up sticks, while not as fun as picking up rocks, once you pick up one, you start picking them all up. So I have two that are about the same length, and I have two more that are about the same length. I have some string. You can use yarn. You could probably even use hair ties if you really wanted to. And I'm going to take this. We'll start to tie a knot so that I can loop it over these guys. Both sticks. There we go. Ever have a day? It's definitely one of those. All right. And I'm going to pull those kind of tight, and then I'm going to wind this. I could tie that in a knot if I really wanted, but I'm going to tie it over and under and over and under. And then on the inside, which right now it's easy because they're just sticks. So we're kind of just wrapping over and under and around. And that's how we're going to create our first corner. Pull that nice and tight. There we go. You could probably do this with dowel rods if you wanted to make your frames before you headed out into nature. Don't wrap your fingers in there. Okay, once we've got it fairly secure, we'll come back up, wrap it a couple more times here, and then tie a knot. You're going to do that again. I brought scissors and string, so if you're going out into the woods and you don't have scissors, pocket knife will do. Help your kids with this. You definitely want to be safe. Okay, I'm going to take my next one. I'm going to do the same thing over here. All right. So now you've got two V's, and we're going to stick them together. I want to be sure the long sticks are lined up with each other, top and bottom. And we're going to do this again. Ooh, I'm going to knock Danielle off the table. That'll be bad. She's against that. Okay. The other thing is you could also tie a little extra loop coming off of this. So you could attach it to the back of a backpack so you don't have to hold it in your hands the whole time you're walking through the woods. Okay. Okay. Good tight knot, and I can always come and trim the tails off later. That's not a big deal. And our last one, see, this is not a perfect square. This actually looks more like a kite. That's okay. And if you don't want to use the whole spool, I'm just going to unwind some here, and that's going to make this last side a little easier. It's already pre-cut. So nice out here today. I hope that when you guys go for a walk in the woods, you get to enjoy it as well. All right, now we're going to make the weaving part. So I'm going to tie this here. And the trick here is we're doing two layers. So I'm going to come up and come around. And then I'm going to come down, and I'm going to go around this way too. So when there's a space between the two things, and I want them to be pretty close together, but I'm going to wrap it all the way around so that my strings don't slip later. See how that one tried to escape? We say no thank you, no escaping. Okay, and around, up. And around. And again, while your string is still not tied, you can make adjustments and bring things closer together. But I will say it is a little tricky since these sticks are natural. They don't necessarily want to slide where I want them to go. So I'm going to have to be a little bit more forceful with them. Alright, so I was having some technical difficulties. And what I figured out is you really need to wrap your string around the corners from the inside to the outside. Around that X, that's going to give you something that's a lot more firm. So then when we come to wrap our weaving strings around them, don't get your fingers caught, it's going to be a lot easier. I cut a length of thread because I got tired of fighting with the whole spool. And that was just ridiculous. Doesn't have to be super tight, but we do want our strings a little close together because that's where the problem is. Okay. Because my sticks are coming together, they want to touch, and they think that's what I want, and that's not what I want. String. Okay. This is also very easy to add more on. So while I'm tying this, instead of dealing with the entire, somebody's cool. Instead of dealing with the entire thing of string, I'm just going to pull some off. It's just going to make it look more rustic. There's nothing wrong with that. Because remember, these are things that you're making so that when you go for a walk in the woods with your kids, you guys can collect leaves, sticks, pieces of bark, other cool stuff. See, even when they made their string, they tied a knot in it too. That's a gimme. That's an extra bonus one. Okay. So we always go around and then back, and if you want, you can get as fancy with this as you want. If you want to go outside and then inside and make little figure eights, that is up to you. I will say that once we get over here, we're going to start running out of room. And all we do for that is we're going to keep going. They're just going to get smaller, and we're going to start probably about here, wrapping from this stick all the way down. So you'll see here in just a moment. So I'm not pulling too tight, just enough that we have a little bit of tension in our string. Okay. Of course. See, they gave me the little knot, and now it's going to misbehave, so I'm going to cut it off. There you go. Now, if I wanted to stop here, I could, but I think it's going to be neat if I just come up here. And I'm just wrapping it around my fingers so that I'm not having to deal with a 3-foot long tail, because that is way too much to deal with too. All right. And this string is light enough weight that it's not like it's going to pull out. If you're using a yarn or a cotton twine, hopefully it will respond in a very similar manner. I'm going to do one more up here, up and around. It's going to grab all my jewelry. You don't get to keep that. All right. And then I'm going to come down here and do a wrap around here. But I'm going to secure it a little bit by crossing my string under. So when I come down here and wrap again, this time it's locked into place. So I can just go from the little string. And once you get to the end, oh, I have a little bit left. Okay. If my hands would work, it would be great. There we go. I can just come around here. I've happen to have an extra end here. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's tied. Now you can take sticks, you can take leaves, and you can just weave them in here. And the more you put in, the more this is going to become tighter and become easier to hang on to. So I'm just going to put these little sticks in here. If I had leaves, I could put them. You know what? Let's put my scissors and see if it'll hold my scissors, just out of curiosity. And it will. Now, I wouldn't carry them like this because I'll lose them, but imagine this full of wildflowers or leaves or any number of things. Now you have a little net that you can carry stuff in, take it home and enjoy it, or scare your neighbors by leaving it around in the neighborhood. Because let's face it, this whole thing is biodegradable, and it sounds like a really fun Halloween prank. Anyway, thank you all for coming to our summer reading. We will see you next summer with even more fun crafts. Have a good one.